hey, well, this guy, he just opened up a store. I used to work with him. I'll just go shoot the shit. And,
Cool.
I walked in there and he's like, yeah, I need help with this, this, this. I'm like, crap, I know how to do that. I think I found out a job to do.
Damn it, I have to work.
Let's go!
I just messing around. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to the Online Footprint Project. I'm your host, Ross McFarlane. Thank you so much for investing your time with us here today. So our guest today, Dane Schwaebe, he's actually a social media man. He's an expat from Japan, and he now helps small businesses get that head start that they need. So really looking forward to him jumping on today. Dane, hey man.
Hey, what's up, dude? How's it going?
Yeah, really good. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, of course. Just making sure I look
Yeah,
good.
absolutely. Man, I'll tell you, I
It's
love the background you got going on. Is that wallpaper or is that like a green screen or?
So, bit of a story behind that. So in America, there's this discount store called Ross. And actually, that's
Okay.
where I buy all my pictures from. And this is actually a huge picture. It's like this picture of New York City. I have like another one
Yeah,
over
cool.
there as well in this room. And it's like, I ended up using it for the background of all my videos that I do. And people are like, dude, that's such a trippy background. I'm like, I guess I see it every day. I'm like, oh, I guess it kind of is. So
Yeah, for sure, man. No, it's great. It works really well for the videos.
well, it makes
Yeah.
it a little bit
So,
interesting.
for sure, man. So, yeah, I mean, Dan, I'd love to hear about because at the moment you're a social media marketer, which is awesome. How did you get into that? Like, have you always wanted to have your own business, or was it more you fell into it? How did it all get started?
Well, I fell into it. I remember I always wanted to have my own business because my prior experience was in sales. That's after Japan.
Yep.
And while I did good in sales, I hated it because I was good, if that makes sense. I mean, it's one thing to
Okay.
work for a big company and, make good money and feel good about it. But I mean, I'm not sure how the stigma is for a salesperson where you're from. But here, I mean, I was a car salesman. I was a good car salesman, but I was
Okay.
still a car salesman. And then I went into
Yeah, don't worry, man.
tools at department.
Sales is my background, so I
Okay,
hear
so
you.
you know what I mean. That's stigma.
Yeah.
And then also I was doing hearing aid sales and the thing is I was good at that, but I always hated the people I worked for because they were just a little too sleazy about it. I mean, it was
Okay. Yeah.
and that's the thing. I hit my tipping point when it came to hearing aids because at this point, it's not just selling them. It's like, okay, you have to maintain a relationship with them and tune their hearing aids and take care of them. And
Yeah,
it felt
definitely.
bad for me to do that because I was really good at getting money. I was used to, asking for high dollars and not getting scared. That's why I was hired. But then I'm like,
Yeah.
then I was just like, well, here I am taking away a good couple thousand out of these elderly people's life savings. And I take care of my grandparents and, the franchise. And I was like, okay, yeah, in 2 years, you're going to upsell them. These hearing aids, they're not even broken, but I'm just still going to upsell. And I'm just like,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
ugh.
So
I didn't feel good about it
yeah, that's
because
fair enough,
I
man.
knew I was getting in there. So so let me bring it back down to what you asked me. So I
Hey,
actually
man, we got
was
all day.
I know, but so I actually was a delivery driver after that. I was pretty much coming clean, if that makes sense. Like, okay, I need to get out and kind of get my head back in order because I
Yeah,
was like
clean
one
slate,
part Jordan Belfort
self-reflection.
and yeah, and I was like, okay, I've turned into one part Jordan Belfort, one part Gordon Greco. I need to become Dane, instead of just an
Yeah.
image that I saw. And
Okay.
I became a delivery driver, and it sucked, but it was okay because, surprisingly enough, I made okay money doing it. And during that time, that's when I started to learn about e-commerce and doing online stuff. And I opened up, first I did a retail arbitrage, or I can't say the word, to eBay, where you pretty much list stuff listed on a company's website and sell it on eBay, and you make a couple of bucks on it. And then
Okay.
I went into doing drop shipping on Shopify, which is how I learned how to kind of get into doing social media marketing because you can build the store. It's really easy to build the store. It's really easy to put products in there. It is not easy to get people to actually go to your store. So I had learned how
Exactly.
to,
Yeah.
I had to learn how to market. And I'm like, oh crap. Well, since I'm doing this, you can tell that the store didn't take off. However, as I said, I fell into it. A friend of mine that I used to sell cars with, he opened up a mattress store. And I was working with this influencer in his freelance class that my girlfriend kind of dragged me into because I said, no, I don't have any skills. And
Yeah. Okay.
and like one of the things, like, okay, go out to a business owner and ask what they need help with. I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm cool. So I decided, like,
Yeah.
okay, well, this guy, he just opened up a store. I used to work with him. I'll just go shoot the shit. And,
Cool.
I walked in there and he's like, yeah, I need help with this, this, this. And I'm like, crap, I know how to do that. I think I found out a job to do.
Damn it, I have to work.
Crap. I found a job that I can occupy. And so
Yeah, okay.
that's been since August, actually.
Yeah, man. No, that's fair enough. Well, yeah, well, it's interesting how you fell into it. It's, certainly something a little different. Just wondering, is that, with your microphone, is that on your collar? I think we're just getting a little bit of feedback with it scraping
Oh, this guy right
by.
here? Oh,
Yeah.
let me try something real quick, because I'm actually really, it's weird. I'm like super uppity about like audio quality, so I'm just like, oh, am I feeding back? I don't want to do that. Can you hear
Yeah,
me
man,
all right?
that's still perfect. I can hear you fine. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
No,
cool.
thanks for that.
Yeah, let's do it then.
Yeah. But yeah, that's cool. So what, you went to a class and then you just happened to be shooting the shit with someone that you used to work with, and then boom, you got yourself a business.
No, yeah,
Well,
and the thing is, like, when I was like there, I was just talking with him, and that old salesman came back and said, hey, bud, let's do this. I have an idea
but
for
wait,
you. And
there's more.
yeah. That's the thing. I was just talking about that. I was asking about what his troubles are and stuff like that. I was like, bud, and like that's how I can tell I'm in sales mode is when I say the word bud. I don't know where I picked it
Okay.
up from,
Yeah.
but I'll be like, bud, I have this idea. You have your delivery driver and his wife doing your social media. They don't know what they're doing. I'm not a pro at that time because I just started, but I can guarantee you I'll
Yeah.
do a lot better than that. And I just fell into it,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so now I've
That's really
got like
cool.
4 clients and stuff. So
Yeah, that's phenomenal. Congratulations. So yeah, I guess from that initial client, how is it that you then started going about finding new clients? Because I think for everyone listening at home that may be in the social media space for marketing, things like that. How did you really start going about with lead gen and that sort of thing, without giving too much away, of course?
well, the thing is, and this is just something I've noticed when it comes to being on the internet. It's one thing to not give everything away, but then you can just go somewhere else and you can find the whole thing. To make that a bit more, it's like one thing like, oh, I can either pay this guru for his Facebook ad class, or I can go on YouTube and find almost the same thing for free. It's kind of hard
Yeah.
on that one, but like the ways how I've been getting leads. I know one popular way is to go through LinkedIn. A person that I follow, her name is Rachel Pedersen. She has this thing called the LinkedIn Challenge, and it's really good. However, the way how I
Okay.
personally found success is in person. That's just because of my sales background. I'm used to I'm used to being an extrovert. I don't want to hide behind a keyboard. I know I do my best work like this. I can talk.
Yeah.
I can move. I can get you to like me. And if you like me, you're
Yeah.
probably gonna
Exactly.
like me. So what I do is actually I'm part of one of my local chambers of commerce, and I'm planning on joining another one because I have to think about this way. Like, okay, so who's my client? Business owners, busy business owners. I'm like, okay, so let's go these big mixer events and just run into people and just literally just say like, hey, I'm a social media marketer. And like, oh, I don't believe in social media. Then I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna walk away from you then. Just keep myself all pumped up. But
Yeah.
that's one thing I do is I do a lot to the local chamber of commerce. I also teach a Facebook class to business owners, and that has probably been the best for me because one, it shows my expertise. Because people are like, oh, well, this to do Facebook ads is easy. You press the boost button, right? I'm like, no, if it was that easy, I wouldn't have a job.
Please don't do
Like,
that.
yeah, like, no,
Yeah.
that's not what you do. And then when I show them, like, business manager and the ad account and all that stuff, they're just like, I'm like, yeah, I know. I like the
Yeah.
glazed over look. That means I'm doing a good job. But, I
Yeah.
actually have helped out people that, because, usually I get people that are just too busy and they end up hiring me, which is great. And they already know who I am. They already know that I'm an expert. They already know I know what I'm doing because I've had to show it a couple of times already. And
Yeah.
then, on their side, there's people that are like, okay, well, we can do this ourselves, and I'm helping them, and so they give me referrals. Because, like, hey,
Yeah.
who's really
Cool.
good at social media? Is me. I'm not cheap. That they know that. I'm not the $100 wonder.
Yeah.
But they know that I do good work.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. And it's interesting you said before if you know you're at networking events and you know you'll be chatting to someone they'll be like, oh, we don't believe in social media marketing. I always find that interesting. It's like, well, do you have a personal Facebook page or you know profile? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, all right. Do you know any of your competitors personally? Do they have personal Facebook profiles? And they're like, yeah. I was like, then your target market's on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
However,
okay, yeah, yeah.
I will
Please.
I will say one thing though. Not all industries are social media friendly. That's one thing I do
Of
realize.
course. Yeah, yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
because like my main thing is like, yeah, I do Facebook and Instagram, and I'm getting into Snapchat. When it comes to like doing Facebook ads, like, it's not like, oh, you'll have instant success because I'm doing it. I mean,
Yeah,
there's some where I'm like, this is good, but you're much better served by paper advertisement or Google AdWords. It's
definitely.
not,
Yeah, absolutely.
because I know, especially for Facebook ads, and anyone out there who, I know we have some people watching, like the main difference between Facebook ads and Google AdWords is intent based. This person is looking for something.
Yeah,
Facebook is, I can't remember the word, but it's like reactive. They see it and then they say like, oh, I would like to have that. They're not
yeah.
thinking about it. So, like I know some, like for example, let's say like dental services or hospices or something really kind of boring. You can run Facebook ads, you might get some, but you're probably gonna do better with Google AdWords, like especially if you're looking like for a casket. Who wants to see a casket on Facebook?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the dental services, just as an example, you know, if you're doing lead gen, then Facebook ads can be really helpful in, you know, offering like a free dental clean and things like that. So for
Oh yeah,
leads, it's fantastic. But for those, yeah, that actually have the intent on using the service, and yeah, Google, you know, pay per click and all those and AdWords are just, you know, fantastic for that. So really depends on the industry. And, you know, sometimes it's a case of Facebook isn't good for, you know, an instant return, but it's good for, say, brand recognition, things like that. And
yes,
then when people go for the you know the intent to buy and they go on Google and they're like, oh, I recognize that brand. I saw them on Facebook a few weeks ago.
yeah,
So you know, it depends on the industry, absolutely, man. And as you said, you know, you're the expert in it, and you know exactly what to do. And I guess it just comes down to what industry that you're working with, and what's the best route to go.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's really cool. So, I mean, yeah, I guess like with the clients that you have now. So, is there a specific niche that you work in, or is it more just you have a niche you prefer to work in, or how does you know how's your demographic come about?
Currently, I'm still pretty broad. I'll admit I'm still pretty broad. I haven't found my one niche yet. So all my clients are all different companies because I'm still trying
Cool.
to see which ones are the best. Like I kind of know some that are
Yeah.
like, okay, well these ones I probably won't take any more clients of. These ones, okay, let's go more this way because it's more fun. Like I'm not sure if you know what an escape room is. It's kind of like a puzzle thing, but I just picked up an escape room client and it's
No.
just,
Okay.
oh, you don't know what it is?
No, no. Please explain. Yeah,
Okay, so let me
I'm new to
explain.
this.
I
Yeah.
don't know if they have them where you're at, but it's kind of like a new trend here. So a room escape is it's like pretty much you go to this place and you have different rooms that are themed. For example, my client, Get a Clue
Okay.
Room Escape. She has two of them. She has the toy attic and Uncle Thaddeus's attic or something like that. And like what you do
Yeah.
is you go in there and you're locked in there, and you have 1 hour to get out. So there's all these
That's
puzzles
cool.
throughout the whole thing, throughout the whole room. Like, okay, well, how do we get out? Well, one, you can kick down the door, but then you'll be politely escorted out. But and people have done that too. That's the scary thing. Some guys, get some big meathead guys like, I'll get through the door, and he got through the door the wrong way. But no,
Yeah.
you might have to move a panel, or you might have to turn off the lights and like use a dark light to see what the clues are to get out of the room because you're supposed to escape. I've done a couple of
Yeah.
them. They're a lot of fun. Only reason why I get out of them is because I'm with a very smart group. Because I'm the guy that's just like, what do I do? I don't understand.
I'll just delegate.
But
You do that. You find that quarter.
yeah, yeah. I'd be like, yes, go team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I was like, I remember I was at another escape room with my girlfriend, and we were in this group of younger people, but they knew what they were doing. Like they go to
Yeah.
escape rooms constantly. It was our first time, so I was like, hey, this is cool. Look at all the scenery in here. And you watch a little, because there's always a story. So we watched a little video, then the TV cut, and I was like, oh crap, what's going on? And then all the
Yeah.
other people, they're just like, okay, guys, let's go, let's go, let's go. I'm like, I will go over here and sit down because I don't know what I'm
SEAL
doing.
Team 6, go, go,
No,
go.
no, seriously, they were on it. They were like
Yeah.
messing with everything immediately. I helped though. The ironic thing
I
is,
moved a
even though
block.
I do a lot. No, seriously, but like even though my background is like well, like, even though I do a lot of technical stuff now, I do like my real love is to fix cars. I love building and
Yep.
racing cars. And they had this cash register there, and it was an old mechanical one. And I took off the case, and I was like, and like everyone's like, oh, we have to find a key to open up the cash drawer. I took off the case. I'm not sure if I was supposed to, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
well, chung, and it opened right up. I was like, I opened the case.
Yeah, nice.
I did my
That's
thing.
really cool.
But that's
Yeah,
the
man,
thing.
that's awesome. I mean, yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just going to say Australia is very behind the times, so we probably wouldn't have anything like that for at least another decade.
Oh, you're from Australia. Oh, cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So
I'm
Adelaide, Australia.
Oh no, well, see, I'm a big fan of films, and ever since I was a little kid, I grew up watching The Road Warrior with Max Rockatansky, and one of these days I'm going to own a Falcon XB. Just
Yep.
I want
My,
one with a
yeah.
supercharger.
My
I'm
very
a car.
first car was a
I'm just like,
Falcon XF.
oh really?
Yeah. I mean, look, it was a piece of shit. Like, I mean, Rog goes, I went to an escape room. I couldn't find my way out. I couldn't find my way in, so I couldn't go.
Oh boy.
Oh, shit. But yeah, it was more just the car came up and my mom's like, look, I want you to have something that's just safe. So it was just this big boat of thing. It had an awful turning circle. But it was safe. You know, if you got any incidents, like it would be all good. Like, I mean, you know, at 16, you got to try and be as sensible as you can for a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was a safe car. So I at least knew when I got behind the wheel, I was pretty safe from, you know, any real incidents or anything like that. So that's kind of why she wanted me to have that. It was a weird car though. Like for some reason, when you put your foot down, the wheels wouldn't spin, and yet if you were in reverse, they would do that. So I was like, well, this is not what a
Right.
16-year-old wants.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I can go to
Yeah.
a very lengthy explanation as to why, but we don't have enough time for that. I can tell you.
No. No, fair enough. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, you were going back to it. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to know more about your car, your car enthusiast. I mean, that's really cool. So you were saying that yeah, you want to get a Falcon. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about that, man.
Oh yeah. You're wanting me to talk about car stuff. You're talking to a person that calls himself like, okay, well, like Dan explain yourself. I like cars. Oh, I do social media and other crap as well, but I like cars.
Yeah.
But no, I'm a big Ford Mustang person, but I just kind of like cars in general. I currently own a 2001 Ford Mustang Roush Stage 2. I love
Yeah.
that car. I'm the second owner of it. I bought it from the first owner who kept it in his garage.
That's awesome. Yeah.
He was one of those guys that say like, youngster, because he was an older guy. It was his midlife crisis car. I knew that,
Yeah. Okay.
and he's like, youngster, just keep this car stock, and it's going to be worth something at Barrett Jackson one day. I'm like, no, it isn't. Because very long explanation. It's because Roushes don't have unique VIN, and it's a Stage 2, so it's not the Stage 3. So it's a very nice Mustang GT with side exhaust pipes. It's cool, and I love it. And
Okay,
I plan to put 200,000 miles on the car, and I race it. I love driving it. But no, I was actually thinking about it today. I've had Mustangs for like 11 years. I can't ever seem to get out of the damn
Yeah. No
car.
shit.
I remember out of high school, I bought my blue V6 Mustang with Flowmaster exhaust, so I thought I was the hot shit, and I wasn't.
Yeah.
And then I had my 99 GT, my 89 GT, my 89 LX, and then I moved to Japan, so I sold everything. And now I have my little Ford Focus, but like what I like to do is I actually I love autocrossing. Do you know what autocrossing is?
I do not. I love cars, but the actual car world, I'm very new. There's a black GT down the road from my house on my street. Actually, I think it's a 2016, and yeah, it looks badass. But that's as far as it goes.
S550s are an excellent generation. That's the chassis code, by the way. Of course, yeah. But no. When it comes to autocross racing, instead of like a car track, imagine taking like a huge parking lot and just throwing a bunch of cones and saying like, okay, well, you have to go from here to here through the course, and whoever has the fastest time wins. I usually don't because my car is very old now comparatively.
Yeah.
But I do it for the fun. And also, I figure one of these days I am going to be very successful. I do not want to be that one rich guy that buys a Ferrari and wraps it around the pole leaving the dealership because he doesn't know how to drive. I like to think I know how to drive. You know, like, okay, this is a lot of horsepower. It's race engineered. I'll respect it. I'm not going to be that kid, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And when I was younger, we would basically just teach ourselves to drive. We would, with manual itself, I tried to go out with my old man, tried to teach me a few times, didn't work. Took 2 days off of school, and I taught myself in the 2 days. Just I basically went up into the hills with a manual. I thought, all right, well, it's either learn or die. And within 2 days, I was good to go. So, and learning to drive really is so important. And yeah, especially if you're going to be getting when we become super, super successful and buying amazing cars, you need to know how to drive them shits.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah.
The ironic thing is that when I do become successful, I'm probably still going to buy just boring old cars anyways.
Probably, yeah.
I like fixing them. I've rebuilt engines, interior, suspensions. I've done the whole thing, and I'm like, okay, I could buy this car that's perfectly good working and expensive, or I could, let's just go to Craigslist, which is a place in America where you can see like all this, crappy used stuff. And I'm like, oh,
yeah, we've got Craigslist here, but it's mostly just for gay hookers.
I won't be surprised. Man, that's the back pages right there. We're having good mate time. I don't know. But I have so many good stick shift driving stories because like my 1989 Ford Mustang, it had a transmit. It was an automatic, and the transmission kept on failing. So what I did is I bought a manual transmission, the manual pedals, the computer, the drive shaft, and I swapped it all in, and that was great. Except I didn't know how to drive stick, so I was like, okay, how do I get this out of my garage now? Because now I have a car that works. But and of course, on and off, I kind of learned how to drive stick. Like I had a Toyota AE86, the Corolla with the flip-up headlights. I'm not sure what they even call them over there.
Oh, the Sprinter, the AE86. Yeah, it's, I'm a big fan of Toyotas, man.
Oh, really?
Fuck, what is it? It's I'm trying to remember the engine now, but yeah, basically it's because they're very similar to the 11, but the 11, the pop-up lights don't occur, so it's just they're always just stationary.
Yes, no, I had had a over here they're called the Corolla SR5 or GTS, but same car.
Okay, because I had the same year model, but I had an AE82, so it was actually more just like a little bubble front-wheel drive car, but same year. Yeah, so very similar to the AE86. But yeah, man, I love Corollas and Toyotas. I've had like 6, 5 or 6.
Dude, I loved that car. Like here in America, like I don't know about Australia, but I know in America we barely got any of them, and in America we have this thing called the drift tax because all the young kids like me, we like to buy them, we like to put money into them, they like to smack them into a wall, and I'm like, that's stupid though. And so it's hard to find one that's even complete for less than 5,000 American dollars, which is absurd. But I remember years ago, I found this one on Craigslist, and it was just, like 1987 Toyota Coupe, and I was like, coupe? They weren't a coupe here. I'm like, and I looked, and it was an 886 non-running for $300, and I was like, ugh. I didn't even have a job, but I still took that money out of my savings. I took that money out of my savings. I called up my tow truck company and said, like, hey, so my new Toyota broke down. Can you just tow it to my house? Like, oh, okay, so, and of course on the phone, like, oh, well, Mr. Schwabe, can we just go ahead and take it to a shop? I'm like, no, it's okay. I got the tools.
That's great. But they're really expensive. Like they are. They're just, it's crazy. I saw one here recently in the city in Adelaide CBD, and it was just immaculate. And like, yeah, no doubt he would have spent like, that would have at least been like $7K, maybe more. I guess when Initial D came out years ago, there was this old Japanese manga cartoon, and it was basically about street racing and like drifting. And the main character had an AE86 Sprinter, and from there it kind of more people learned about what the car was, and then since then now it's basically the car has its own little action figure and all this, and that kind of grew the not the drift scene, but more like the the awareness of those types of cars. Because when you moved to Japan, did you find that there was a big street racing culture there? Because when I visited, I did see a few sneaky they'd be basically just a few Sir Ladies like back in the day where they would get
Yeah.
two different cars, like swap the front and the back, and a few different cars like that. But I didn't really see too much. However, I was only there for 2 weeks, so I didn't really get to engross myself fully in the culture in only a fortnight.
Like car culture in Japan is weird. I guess like back in the day, I mean, for us, looking at Japan, we think, oh, there must be, these cool cars like rolling around the street all the time, and you'll see them. Don't get me wrong, but like compared to say like America, not on the same level. And trust me, I'm going to get super deep, so we're going to deep into this real quick. So
Let's do it. Firing up.
So I'll put it like this: late '80s, early '90s. That's when I guess what we would consider Gen X was in our age range. I assume you're close to my age.
Yeah.
And back then that was big on buying cars and modifying them. They were the wild generation. They were the ones that had the motorcycle gangs. They would have cars with huge exhaust pipes coming out the rear of the car. They were big on car modification. And then one day they grew up. So now in Japan, you have a generation that's our age, and they're known as the omnivore. They even have like a term, like it's like omnivore man and career woman. And it's because like back in the day, guys were really, they're real tough dudes. They like to fight, they like to buck, they like to be really, they like to beat each other up. And now it's like, okay, well, these guys aren't into it. And so that's the thing. And you also remember, like back then in Japan, the economy was good, so people could afford to own a car. That's probably the big thing right there. Gasoline was relatively cheaper, and you still needed a car to get around. Don't get me wrong, their train system is amazing, but there's some parts where, the train can't take you. Now, modern days Japan, you have the train that takes you everywhere, and of course we have our smartphones. You really don't need to jump into a car and go anywhere, especially when gasoline is, I think it's like $6 a gallon, and the taxes are very expensive. And to even get a license, you have to like get a certain license for a manual or an automatic. I think that's the same in Australia, but here in America.
No, it's well, unless it's changed, but yeah, it's always just I've always found it very interesting that you don't need a license for either. And look, the kids these days, they may have new licenses, but for basically all through even to mid-20s, it's just it hasn't been a thing. You just once you got your license, even if you learnt in auto, you can just jump straight into a manual.
No, in Japan, like if you get your license for an auto, you can only own an auto and drive an automatic. But if you get a manual,
which I think is a good thing for safety and all that.
I guess I could see that too. I know in America, I mean, we parents throw licenses at people. We have some crazy people here. And the thing is, like, I'm not sure about you, but I know for America, when it comes to the licenses, I know certain European or just other countries, like Japan tiers the car license system. So, for example, say if you're English and you have an English driver's license, you can just get your license translated because Japan sees that as
absolutely
value. In America,
my mom did that in the States.
Oh, really?
Oh, she did years ago though. So yeah, made a change now. But I remember her telling me this, and this would have been like 30 years ago. So she had her L's in England, but it was the same color as the full license of the American license at the time.
Oh.
So she just went there and she just got it transferred over, and they didn't realize, so they gave her a full license. But this is like 30 years ago, so no doubt it would have changed since. Yeah.
Well, I do know that for a fact that since American license, since we're really easy to get. I mean, we're really easy. It still took me 3 times, but it's really easy to get a license here. You have to test up. Now, testing up means you have to take a written test, which is very easy because, it's kind of like they took the Japanese test and they put it through Google Translate, so you can kind of just figure out what the answer is by just reading the question. When you're at the stop sign, do you stop? Yes. Okay, I think I can figure that out. It's the driving section that's tough because I'll admit, up until that point, I wasn't that good at driving stick. I could, but during the test, you're on a closed course. Like in America, you drive on the streets with some volunteer guy. In Japan, you're on a closed course with a on-duty Japanese police officer who is watching you and just going the entire time because he does not like you, especially as foreigners. Like seriously, it took me 2 times to get my license. And he only did the foreigners, and he was just unhappy every single time I saw him.
Yeah,
Of
okay.
course, for most foreign people, it took them 8 or 9 tries. I was an anomaly to get it done on my second, and I didn't even drive the whole course the first time around because I'm in America. We drive on the American side of the road, so first thing I did is I turned out and I was right on the freedom side of the road, and yep, I failed. I didn't even take the course. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but and the thing is, so you're on this course. You have a police officer that's watching you. You have the next kid who's going to be testing with you in the backseat. So you have two, 2 sets of eyes watching you, and then you're also not in a car you're familiar with. You have to rent a car from the driving school. So you're now driving this little, tired Nissan with a clutch that feels like nothing and a gear shift that's probably been ground down to mush because every
Yeah.
Japanese teenager's had a go around in it. And yeah, like, okay, well, start driving. And of course, you have to do the inspection of the car and everything. You have to like really look like, oh, yep, there's a tire there. Okay, good. We
Yep.
got 4 tires. Yes. And
Yeah.
it was so funny because I was going through the whole course and I did perfect. That actually pissed him off. No one believes me when I say this, but I drove through the whole course and the instructor is only supposed to tell you like where to turn and that's it. And he started saying like, "Mo omae wa chotto hayaku zo, usoi yaro ne," which is
Yeah.
rude Japanese for why are you driving so damn slow? Hurry it up, because I was driving very slow
Yep.
because I was very terrified.
Of
And
course. Yeah.
so I do my test, and then the other 3 kids they do their test, and he lines us all up, and he walks down with his clipboard. And he's like, "Schwaebe-san." I'm like, "Hi," a little bit terrified. He's like, "You actually are a pretty good driver. Just remember to signal a
Oh,
little
sugoi.
quicker." I'm like,
Yeah.
seriously, I was like, "Honsuska, yeah," and he was like, and he cracked a small smile, probably the first time in 10 years. And so I actually have a picture. I actually have my license here somewhere. Did I? Oh no, I guess I dropped it. It's the only picture I have where I'm legitimately smiling for a picture because I can't like force a smile if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where did that picture go? Huh, go figure, right?
Yeah. That's
Right.
great. That's funny, man. So yeah, that's hilarious. But I mean, look, I guess just bringing it back to the whole social media thing because that's been a
Of
great
course.
chat. But
Trust
yeah,
me,
man. I
I
mean,
talk.
as I said, we always just get off topic. Kind of just wherever it goes, it's always a bit of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess with your business that you have, I mean, how with the social media, as you said, there's no specific demographic that you work with because you're still trying to find your feet. But are there any industries that you more so like leaning towards? That you think that may be now come more regular or something like that?
I know I like to say I generally prefer working with small businesses, not exactly mom and pop shops. I like working with businesses that are small that could use my help because I'm not just trying to be like their social media guy. I'm trying to be like the guy that does the marketing and the brand strategy.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
I definitely want to do escape rooms because there's so many cool things you can do with them. You can do
It sounds a lot of fun.
that's the thing. You can do chat, and it's a fun thing too. Something that people will, the price point is low enough that people will impulse buy or impulse book. I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah.
And then you can do chatbots, but like definitely like fun services like that they can get people going to. I was thinking car dealerships, but there's too much of a cartel of companies that do websites and kind of throw in the social media, so I'm kind of shoved out of that. Um, I have found that working with influencers is really fun. Um, One that I'm working with, am I allowed to name drop on here or no?
If you want, man, it's your episode.
Oh, okay. People might know him. There's this one guy. He has a book. His name is Daniel D. Piazza, and I'm actually working with him.
Okay.
Here.
Actually, I
Here we
think I
go.
remember you mentioned it once you did like a live or something, and yeah, you happened to mention it. Yeah.
No, yeah. No, pretty much like working with him has been really interesting because he's like, how to put this? He's like above because like usually I'm working with business owners that look up to me to have all the answers, and like, okay, well now it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I know the answers, but he's like also a good couple years ahead of me, so it's like, hey Dane, so what do you think we should do about this? I'm like, well, because I look up to him, he's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Like I'll give him my feedback. He's like, let's do this and this. And I'm like, shit, why didn't I think of that first? But it actually is really fun because like you sort of get introduced to their inner circle. Like it was really cool. we were in. He got an Airbnb for me and a couple other people, helping him work on his new business, and it was cool. Like like talking with him because when you're talking with like influencers and stuff, or just people that are just famous, you always see them like kind of like up here.
Yeah.
And then when you're like on the same level, like I remember we were working on this project and he's like, "Okay, Dan, I want you to think of some ideas I did." And then here he is like being videotaped. He's like, "Okay, Dan, what's the next one?" I'm like, "I'm giving direction. I'm telling you what to do." Like, and the
Yeah.
thing is to think about, like, we're so used to thinking like, okay, well, they're above us. They know everything. Sometimes we actually are the right tool, if that makes sense. Even if we don't seem like I know everything. But another
Of
one I
course.
really
Well,
want to
we
try.
know our own experiences and our own paths, so we certainly know something that he wouldn't. It's just, he may know more in a certain field or industry.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, I always keep on thinking he knows everything about social media, but he's like, I'll say I do email marketing and Instagram. I'm like, I guess that's true. Yeah, I've never seen you do a Facebook ad ever.
Yeah.
Another industry that I think would be awesome would be veterinary clinics. Might be hard on
Okay.
cost, but if you have a good case study showing that you can bring in predictable leads and revenue and it's cost effective, it's an easy one because people love their pets. I'm sure it probably is in Australia, but people really go crazy here for their pets. They will buy
Yeah, absolutely. It's
anything.
part of the family.
Yeah, it's part of the family. It's kind of an impulse buying. People, they don't want to see their animal suffer. I'm a cat person. I mean, when they say like, "Oh, your cat needs this," like, "Oh my gosh, I must get it immediately."
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, similar with the dentist doing like on Facebook ads, with ClickFunnels or whatever else, with just doing like a free offer in some way or another, whatever the vet clinics can afford to offer, whether it's like I don't know, whatever they do, like grooming or de-fleaing or something, like have your pets checked for fleas like for free. I mean, that in itself is a lead gen campaign that you can offer as like a free trial to, vet clinics around the country.
Oh yeah, no, see, like that's perfect example. Like, I mean, there's always a lot of stigma about like, "Oh, I don't want to go to the dentist," but like, "Oh, get Fido checked out to see if he has fleas." Oh, I'll go ahead and sign up for that. And I'm just like, "Oh, that's so perfect."
Yeah.
It's just getting business owners on board who are like, "Oh, social media, that's what my niece does, and she just sits at the table all the time playing on her phone. I don't want to do that."
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, just how can I just plug into your brain and say this is good stuff, and this is probably the way forward for, I guess, reactive marketing, if anything.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I guess it comes down to with the whole sales thing and the objections of it, like coming up with it, be able to handle those objections pre-conversation. So then if that ever comes up, you at least know, boom, look, this is exactly what I got to drop and say to really reframe their perspective on it, because they are going to get value from it. It's just a case of them seeing that they're getting value. And sometimes if we can suggest something, they then come to the idea themselves. They're going to be much more open to the idea than opposed to just us saying, look, we're the expert, do this, this, and this. And there's going to be that bit of resistance there. So, yeah, man, I mean, I think it's just with the social media, resistance there, it's really just kind of picking, well, let's look at your competitor. They're on social media, and they're getting, results, or, for instance, your competitors here aren't doing social media. So if you start doing it, then you're the only one doing it. And that's really something unique that you're now, unique marketing perspective. So there's so many different ways to really go about it. It's just about trying to figure out whatever the industry is and then handling that objection, or at least coming up with it before you have the conversation.
No, yeah, I agree. And again, once again with sales, you also can't close everyone. But
of course,
then again, if you do good prospecting, you're probably not going to be talking to them to begin with. So.
Yeah, well, that's it. If it's good prospecting, then it's a higher rate of close purely because they're a warmer lead or they're already qualified. Whereas, with typical sales, if it's a numbers game, it's just you're getting whoever's in front of you. But if you're prospecting the right way, it's the right kind of client that you're talking to each time. So it's a much higher rate, which is going to utilize your time a lot better as well.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Dave, well, I was wondering, man, like for everyone at home, like just say they do need help with their social media. How are they able to get in contact with you, with your business and things like that, so that way you can help them grow their business?
Yeah, sure. All my social media channels that I use is D Schwaebe, because I can't think of anything clever. I used to do clever Instagram handles and stuff like that, and I realized I'm bad at spelling, so I couldn't even tell if I was writing them down right or not. All my social media channels, which is Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube, is D Schwaebe. I'm really pushing for YouTube this year, so anyone wants to check them out, it'd be great.